dads and families. Today we look at mastering emotional pause points. Why is this important? Well, have you ever snapped at your children? You're not alone. And then we regret it because we snapped at them. That's not what we wanted to do. Well, there's a difference between reacting and responding, and it's that split second of awareness. And today, I'll show you one way of mastering this. And on Monday, I have a guest who will also be talking a little bit about this topic as well. So that'll be very cool. You'll get another perspective. So, oh yes, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Christine Bernard, stress management coach and much more. And if you want to connect, there's my QR code for a free 20-minute discovery call just quickly to see if we're a good fit. Or you can just continue watching the episodes. I highly recommend you start at episode 1. And I also highly recommend that you use the subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you have all the episodes there. Okay, so what is the number one mistake dads make when emotions take over? So what is it that happens? Happens to you, has happened to me. I mean, if you're a human being, right? We do this. But it's not taking the time to pause and becoming very, very aware of what it is that's happening. We're not able to listen from a place of detachment, if you will, because we're so triggered by what they say or how they say it, or and we're gone. Another very important point is also, have you practiced self-regulation so that when you are triggered, you're ready? You have tools to support you to make sure that you're in that moment, that you're able to take that split second of awareness to say, I'm triggered. I got to go to my tools. And that will make a huge difference. However, to be able to do that, we need to train our brain. Because what happens when we go into survival mode, when we're triggered, we go into survival mode. We either want to escape, we want, the fight, flight, fear, fawn mode. So fight, you're fighting with your words, or you're fighting physically. Flight, you're running away, you're escaping from what it is that's really inside. Fear, there's a fear that's hidden behind there. And fawn is also another way of not dealing with the initial trigger. Why is this triggering me? What is it about this that triggered me? It's an inside job. It is an inside job. This reminds me, I read a book a long time ago and it said leadership is an inside job. Well, self-regulation with your kids is an inside job. Mastering emotional pause points is an inside job. Are you ready to start this inside job? I believe that if you're here, it's because this is super important to you. So it says, why pausing before speaking can change your child's future? Oh, how can that change your child's future? Think of every time you have been with someone that was triggered by you. How did you feel by their reaction? Maybe you got in fights that probably wouldn't have happened. Maybe you got into arguments that probably wouldn't have happened. Maybe you got punished And because you didn't get to explain your point properly, maybe, there are so many different ways that it will change your child's future because you will stay grounded, you will stay calm, and you will be able to listen attentively, to really be present with them, and to listen attentively with understanding, right? Trying to understand their point of view, what's going on in their brain, because their brain thinks differently from yours. And that, I don't think I've talked much about that. And yes, our children can have a brain that thinks completely different from ours. And I mean, it's a young brain. It doesn't have all your life experience. It doesn't have all your wisdom that you have collected over the years. So, do you want to lead your children with love? Do you want to leave them a legacy of love? If you do, I highly, highly, highly 99, 100% recommend you learn to self-regulate. Find ways that you are not being triggered into reaction, but you are able to just stay really calm, cool, collected in that moment. And I'd like you to share a moment when you were able and you're really proud of yourself. Hey, this week when, I don't know, my child rolled their eyes, I looked away. Sometimes looking away can be a great tool if we're triggered by the body language of a person. There's so many different ways. I've talked about havening, where you put your hands on your shoulders and you go down. I find this one is really good when we need some self-love, but it has such a calming effect. If you start doing this while your child is listening, while you're listening to your child might even start, or they say, "Oh, what you up to, Dad?" And you're like, "I'm self-regulating. Would you like to join me?" Try it out and see how this feels. So breathing in and exhale. And you can press hard or you can press just very gently. Try both. What feels better in this moment for you? Is it the really gentle? Sometimes kids will just want to do it and not touch the skin at all, and that's okay. You don't need to. Or you might want to really just, it feels good. Do it at least 9 times to really, it creates a safe feeling in the brain. And when the brain starts to feel safe, well, the amygdala in the brain starts to feel safe, then you're able to use your logical brain. And whatever you say, generally speaking, you will not have any regrets because you will have taken the time to breathe. And of course, there is also snap, tap, as you breathe in and relax those shoulders, and zap. Zap that out. You can do this while your child is listening. And this is an excellent way to just keep breathing, tapping, relaxing. You get a text message from your teen and you've told them no about something and they're still asking you, "Oh, but I really want to go," whatever. You can snap, tap, zap that out. Zap the desire to write something that you may regret. And then once you've really breathed in, are there any elements that have changed? If nothing has changed, and sorry, I'm itchy, and you still feel the same way, you can say, as discussed, as we talked about it, I really want you to come home. Would you like me to come and pick you up? Or do you want to take the bus? And sometimes offering to pick them up can be a good solution. Remember, this is a way that we want them to feel safe when they talk to us. Because if we are not always into the trigger mode, our children will learn to feel safer with us, won't they? Think about times where you or the people with who you feel safest. Is it those who lose it and explode all the time? Or is it those that stay calm, present, and grounded? And I'm not putting in there those who stay calm and manipulate you, okay? That's another category of people. But those do exist. And we will talk about that in another episode. So there are mistakes that we can make. There are ways of improving. I've seen parents who things are working out in their family. And once they start their lives change completely, completely. And it's mind blowing to see the power self regulation has on us and on our children. So I encourage you to make that decision, that choice to want to self regulate. And there are other strategies and there are other ways of doing it. And it's practicing. Practice self regulating. If you don't want to do, if you were not able to use the snap, tap, zap, for example, when your child triggered you and you reacted and responded quickly and were not able to pause, that means you need to practice. How do you practice? There are many different ways of practicing until you are able to master this emotional pause part. And the snap has a way of just like it's a split second. And whoops, it brings you to, oh, okay, I need to snap, tap, zap. It brings you there. However, when I first started, I needed to practice. So I would just imagine the situation, see out of 10 how intense it was. 10 out of 10 super intense, 0 out of 10 barely. And then I would snap, tap, and zap that out so that I could do it in the imagination. And studies have been done to show and to prove that almost 50% improvement just by doing it that way. So you want to add another level to that? Choose a TV show with a character that acts the same way as your child and watch it. And when you see, like pretend you're the parent in there, the dad in there. And when the child does something, I want you to snap, tap, and zap that out until your trigger's gone. And then when you do it in real life, it's easier because the brain has been trained to do that. And as soon as you're going to snap, or if you can't snap, you can clap. That's okay. If you're doing it with little kids, snapping is really hard. So you can teach them to clap instead. And they'll follow you along. They will follow you along when they are ready. Not if they are, when they are. Because, and time again, this has happened. And you can ask them for help. Okay, I'm really focusing on not reacting when I'm triggered by fear or whatever, and to stay calm when you're telling me something that I will not agree with, that I won't agree with. So, for example, you can say to the child, the child can come up to you and say, Dad, we need to snap, tap, zap together because I have something to tell you and I'm afraid you're not going to be happy about it. And wow, what beautiful emotional intelligence you are helping your child develop, right? So I'd like to take it's Friday, and I think it's very, very important to celebrate our wins. I'd love to know what your wins are this week. Please share them in the chat and share them with your family. Share them with yourself. Journal your wins. Journal what you're proud of. Journal what you're grateful for. Take time or sit in nature under a tree and just think about all the beautiful things you're grateful for. Sharing them with someone else out loud has a whole other level than just sharing it in your mind, but also sharing it in writing in a journal has another level of integration for your brain. So on this note, I wish you a great Friday. And if you want to bring about some change in your family, if you need support in staying calm, you've got triggers, you've tried Snap, Tap, Zap, and there's something that's not working, there's a little bit more, we need to go deeper, or you know that you have trauma or PTSD, book a call so that I can support you on that journey and make it easier for you. Okay? So have a great, I wanted to put something up here. There we go. So have a great weekend. Take care of yourself. Give yourself some self-love, gratitude. What are you most grateful for? Teach your children to have gratitude and practice mastering the pause that you need